Getting out of bed when you don't feel like it. We all have those days, right? I mean, I had one of those days myself this morning. I have to admit, I did not feel like getting out of bed. I felt like I kind of wanted to roll over and sleep for another hour, right? I mean, it's something that happens to all of us, right? So actually, this video is great because today I'm going to tell you about three things that you can do to help you get out of bed when you're not feeling like you really want to get out of bed. Because again, we all have those days. So let's dive right into it. So one of the tried and true methods of getting yourself moving when you don't really feel like getting moving is the countdown method. Now, I first heard about this method, I think, or was popularized in my mind. Mel Robbins actually had it on her podcast, and then she used a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you know, to kind of break hesitation. We've been conditioned that with countdowns, right? With countdowns, we know that there's a progression to something and that we should take action. So by simply saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then moving, and that could be just as simple as, you know, putting one foot over the side of the bed. Because if you said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just put that foot over the side of the bed, the rest of your body is going to want to follow in that momentum because the message that you gave was that, well, something's supposed to happen, something is happening, let's keep going. So I definitely like the countdown method. The reverse of this method is I'm going to count to three and you better get out of that bed. But I'm going to explain to you why that's counterproductive. And counting up actually increases resistance rather than decreasing it when you're talking about time and getting moving. Because as you're increasing, so let's say I want to do 1, 2, 3 move, it's not the same thing. I mean, you can try it yourself. Say 3, 2, 1, and see how that feels in your body, right? In your mind. And then say 1, 2, 3. And you can literally, if you're paying attention, you can literally feel your resistance start to build as you're counting up, right? So, start from wherever you need to start. Some people start with five. Five is a pretty good example. You can do up to 30. I wouldn't go much past 30 because then you're really procrastinating, right? Because I had somebody I was working with and they said, I really couldn't do it. So I gave myself 100, right? And 100 is a long time unless you're singing 99 bottles of beer in the wall. Hey, who are we kidding? It's still a long time. Anyway, using the countdown method is a good way to get yourself and motivated out in the morning. The next tip that I have for you today is anchor your morning. Anchor your morning in something that you actually look forward to every day and something that might be a non negotiable for you, something that has to do with self care. And I say anchor your morning in something that you look forward to. And I say anchor it in self care because it's killing two birds with one stone. You're actually, um, you're actually acknowledging that you have value by doing something that you want, and you're actually scheduling to do that in your morning. But I call them non-negotiables because, you really shouldn't negotiate those. So for me, it's, my meditation or my first cup of coffee in the morning when I'm sitting there and I can actually visualize it. I'm sitting in the sunroom, got the cup of coffee, the lights coming in just that little way, and the more you can visualize it and visualize the feeling that you get from it, and you're really looking forward to it, you're going to want to jump out of that bed so you don't miss it, right? So that is definitely another one of my favorite hacks. And I just chose my morning coffee routine because it's something I really enjoy and it's something that I can vividly visualize in my head. If you can vividly visualize it and not only visualize it, but actually feel the feeling that you get from whatever it might be meditation, it might be jogging, might be getting up to play a video game before school. All are perfectly valid. But please, please, please don't tell me it's waking up to check your Facebook feed. That is one time when I'm gonna have to put my foot down and say, "Look, if you're looking forward to getting on and checking out Facebook and social media, may want to consider some other options." Okay. Again, no judgment, but if you are having an issue dragging yourself out of bed, and the first thing you do is you look at your phone and you scroll through Instagram or Facebook, sure, you might be looking forward to it, but I can guarantee you that there's going to be at least one thing that's going to be like a little bit of a kick in the stomach, or a demotivator, so to speak, right? Which is why I always say you don't do anything at least an hour to 2 hours if you can help it. 2 hours after you wake up before you start subjecting yourself to the outside world in that way. So again, just anchor your morning and just have something that you really look forward to every morning. Everybody's got one. Can be a small thing. Can be a great chance to tie in some gratitude too. So again, killing two birds with one stone. I love doing that. I love stacking and making everything just more beneficial and more useful. The last tip that I have for you today is the light first, then motion. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, and when you live in Canada like I do, this is kind of obvious because you go through the different cycles of the winter. So it's especially harder for me to get up in the winter because it's still dark outside. You get up when it's dark outside, you go to sleep when it's dark outside. It's a little bit off-putting, to say the least, right? So if you are in an area with a lot of natural light, always like now it's summertime here, so the sun's up at like 5 a.m. or it starts getting light at 5 a.m. So I just open my blinds. I have my blinds set to go open at 5 a.m. and that lets the light in and that lets my body know, oh, it's light, we should get moving and go to and get doing some things, right? So you can do this with timed lights. You can do this simply by if you have a light by the side of your bed or you have the blinds by the side of your bed, just open them up, let the light into the room as much as possible. Natural light is obviously going to be better at this than artificial light, but there are people that they go buy these sleep masks, and these sleep masks actually have little LED lights to help wake you up. And what's interesting about that is it was a way to wake you up, but they found that by using the light to wake you up at a low level like that, they actually found that it gave you a little more motivation. Well, the users said that they had more motivation to get up when they were woken up by these little string of lights than they were when they were woken. So once again, those are the tips for you today. Leave a comment, let me know which of those resonated. Maybe none of them did, and keep checking back for more videos. And let's get a discussion going. What's your favorite way to get yourself motivated in the morning when you don't want to get out of bed? And I'll see you in the next video.